welcome. My name is Jesica. I am a beginner artist. I am from the small community of Red Springs, New Mexico, where the weather just can't decide whether it's going to be like, at any time of the day. So I'm presenting this today for you. It's called Random Drawings Telling Stories. Now, I am doing this for the Octavia Flynn Public Library, just to tell like a visual story of how visuals tie into storytelling. Now, these are not pre-planned. I will be either drawing and telling a story at the same time, or I will tell a story and I'll finish off with a drawing that was in progress. I would like to show you some of my artwork. At the very beginning, just to give examples, and I might tell you a story, just kind of tying with that. But let me also show you some supplies that I brought with me today. Now, these are only a small portion of supplies, but I work with a bunch of different things, and it's mainly drawing. I like to use pens the most. I evolved from using pencils, but I've recently gotten into colors, so you get to see my collection and my art. Thank you. Okay, so let's get started with some of my materials. So I do have a couple of booklets where I use for drawing, or rather sketching. I do have some scrap material, which is almost my favorite because I get to do anything on these. And I also brought a marker, which is really has a thick kind of coverage for me. I like to do those on big projects. I have my own little personal take-along kind of bag full of different various pens and coloring, and even some tools that I use every day. I also brought a bigger portion of some of those pens too, because as I mentioned before, I like using colors now for anything. I don't have a color set for one thing. I just grab one and I start drawing most of the time. So I'm going to probably be working with those. I wanted to share some of the paper doodles I've been doing lately, just as an example. So this one really doesn't have anything, but there, as you can see, there is a tiny little hand on here. I've been trying to practice on how to do hands more recently. This one kind of grew from just scribbles to a bag to an old woman just kind of walking away, and I thought it'd be nice to put Sydney, Australia down there just because I've visited once, but I like that place. This one, as you can see, has some crossouts, but I had an urge to do some doodles, and it turned out to be a Coke can. So these ones are just some examples of what you can do everyday life. Or you can just keep on going with just lines and shapes, and this one is a good example of that. It started just in one area, just shapes, lines, dots, circles, and it kind of grew into this shape, and I thought I'd give it a little bit more form and just flow it out a little bit and add a little bit extra, and it just turned into what to me looks like a lady playing a violin with maybe a bird in the background. That's kind of like the gist of it. So with these other drawings, I just kind of want to go through them just kind of really quickly. This is what I've done before, but they're things that I randomly did. I did them really quickly. It was not pre-planned, but I just wanted to share them with you because anything can happen. And this one actually kind of looks like a fox to me now. I thought it was like a were-rabbit, but now it looks kind of foxish. But let's go ahead and get started on our doodles for today. So just to get us started, I got some more scrap paper, just if I want to just grab some just to kind of doodle just random things. But let's go ahead and start with this paper because I haven't touched this one just yet. So I want to start drawing in this one. So again, I really don't have a set thing in mind. I like to kind of randomly do things. So let's just draw maybe scribble and work from there. And for the story, let's see. This one would look like Let's grab another one here. So the story I want to tell you for this one is maybe, let's say, a loaf of bread. So bread is very big in these parts. There's something called a fry bread that people like to get. And it's basically dough that's just flattened out and is fried, in oil, lard, or, some people do olive oil, just trying to be healthy. But recently I have been noticing a lot of zuni bread going around, where people miss what's called a flea market around here. But I like getting loaves of bread because you can cut them up, you can shape them into bowls to put your soup in, I've noticed, or I've recently come to realize. You can make them into different shapes and sizes. You can make art with them in certain terms. You can make them with cheese, with mixed sandwiches. Bread is like a staple. And let's see here. One of the main breads I like to get is zuni bread, and that's usually more round. Let's do an example here. They're more round and they're a little bit lighter color, so let's go ahead and grab one of these. Well, maybe this is akaba bread, but almost looks almost like a wheel to some individuals, but they are delicious, especially with soup. And it looks like I want to have some cheese with this bread today. So let's go ahead and give them some holes for our cheese. So that's one to share with you. I was coming into town this morning and I was thinking about certain things to share with different individuals, but one of the things was stars. Now, stars in the sky, people like to look up. I mean, it's like one of those things you would have to just look up and appreciate on a clear night or even just a cloudy night. But of course, you're going to have your moon. I usually like looking up to see what clouds there are, what stars there are, because you can always see shapes inside of clouds, or maybe even around clouds. As you can see, I'm kind of building up a collection of just pulled materials, and I like doing that. Let's do this one. Will be now, stars in the sky has always fascinated people, individuals, for forever. People want to reach up and touch the stars. People want to run and catch the stars, because that would be just tremendous, just to dance and appreciate these stars. Even just to touch them, to see them in person would be stupendous. Now, we do have technology now to bring them closer, to see them for ourselves, but most of us still like to dream, still like to see what these stars would look like. Now, I remember as a child, just looking up at these stars and seeing not only that these were stars in one color, like they were just these tiny balls of light in the sky, but if I look at them long enough, they would change colors, they would be blinky, they would shift from one color to another, hence why my stars look more like dots right now, because not all of them are one color. Let's grab, having difficulty trying to find a color I want right now. Let's go big here. Well, stars in the sky, we reach up to touch them. They're almost reassuring to us most times because they are a constant. Now, a constant is something that always stays the same. We look up, there's something that's always there, which is why I think when we feel bad, when we're feeling lonely, we want to look up and see the clouds, the stars. My grandmother had told me a story about the stars. One of my grandmothers, not my current grandmother, but she told me that a human or a human being, a person who used thumbs, she said most of this in Navajo, but I believe I remember the gist of it. A person with thumbs or a being with thumbs would look up in the sky to search for someone that they're missing. Which is why, you always, whenever you're lonely, you look up to the stars. Because you're hoping that they're seeing the same thing that you are at that point. She said when you're looking up, somebody either misses you, somebody is looking for you, or you are the one who is looking for something. Now, it doesn't have to be a person. It could be a place that you miss. It could be an object that you had lost. It could be a special someone that, just kind of left. It could be any of those things. But you always remember to look up. Now, if you view yourself as the person, the type that doesn't look up at the sky, you always are focused on your screen. Think about this. Do you ever just look at pictures of landscapes? Do you ever just look at pictures of forms that move or something that blinks at you and you just kind of stare at it? That could be your version of looking up in the sky, especially when you're feeling sad and lonely. So here is something just to kind of emphasize that. Just a person looking up or dancing or reaching for the stars. Okay. Go ahead and move on. Now let's see. Let's try red. Let's see what forms we can get with red. Let's see here. Now let's say that this, I'm going to be silent for a little bit because I'm trying to figure out what this would pertain to or say. There once was a story about a person who lived in a little house. Now, it's not the same little house that would be, let's say, under the hill, but this person had built the house based on a certain book. They loved their little hut. They loved that their door was shaped like their favorite book. They built up their storage around it to make sure that everything was covered, everything was stored just correctly so that their food would not spoil. They would always have wood in front of their house. Let's grab this one. Now they did own animals. One in particular was a horse that had just shown up one day. Now they didn't know what to make of this horse because, well, it just showed up one day. But they kept it and they fed it. They always kept some food out for it just to make sure that it was happy. Now, time had gone by and they realized that this horse, this horse is not a horse. This horse had longer ears than a regular horse. See, they never really had their horse in their lives. So they went to another place, another family, to figure out what is this animal, what is this creature. And when the neighbors came and they saw what they had, they said, "You don't have a horse, you have a burro." Now a burro is like a horse, but not like a horse. It has longer ears and I want to say a shorter snout, but that's kind of what I like to draw. So for this horse, they said this burro, it can haul things for you. So let's go ahead and give it a saddle here. You can ride it, but just be careful. But this burro ended up becoming one of their best friends because it was very, very gentle and very helpful to them. And it would always follow them no matter where they went, which was nice because, well, they had a lot of things to move around, whether it be dirt or rocks or just their supplies daily from town. Let's draw a little bit of a person here. So kind of completes. This is not going to turn out the way I want it. But that's okay. That's what doodles are for. And I'm not going to draw a face for this person because faces are not my specialty. But I think you get the picture. And there's our person with their burro. See, drawings don't have to always be perfect. In my opinion, perfection is great. Perfection is wonderful. I love seeing perfect things just to appreciate them. But I myself, most of the time, cannot get perfect. So I try to shape things to where they're understood. And I strive for some sort of perfection in my randomness. Now, let's do a little bit of a bigger one. Let's do a story about corn. Now, may not look like corn, but this speaks to me sort of like a corn husk. Maybe when you cut it in half and see it inside. But for corn, I grew up with one of my nollies, one of my dad's dad or grandpa on that side, where we would have a field. A field to plow, a field to, put seeds in. And he would always mention that we need to go haul water, because where we live, there is no water. Or at least none that we can pump from a well. So every single day, or every other day, depending on the day, we would take the vehicle and we would go and haul that water and make sure our crops are watered and tended to. Now, the crops are usually in straight rows with like little mounds on top. And these corn husks would be growing from them. First they would just be little stalks, and then they would just grow into bigger and bigger and bigger stalks. Now we would always be out there weeding or taking out the plants that are not supposed to be there so that the water would not go to those weeds. Very important, especially if you're growing corn. But after a while, you would get these tiny little stalks, ears of corn, to grow. Now, as the years gone by, there was less and less corn. And one day, my nollie, I want to just say nollie because that's who he is to me. He said, we can't grow corn anymore because the ground, it will not give us any more. So it was decided from then that we would have to move it. Now, the crop that we used to grow used to be right in front of his house, right outside the door. So it was very easy to go out and do our weeding, to get water, to dump it in, and then use the rest for the household. That's just what you do if you don't have running water. But we ended up moving it to a bigger area, maybe about 5 minutes away in a little ditch. So this little ditch had a buildup of good soil. I mean, if you felt it, it felt really soft, really moist, almost all year round. So he decided to plant his seeds there. Now, it wasn't that easy. We would have to build, because it was 5 minutes away and there was animals around, we would have to have built a little bit of a fence just to make sure that the animals would not be inside, especially rodents. That is the main thing that would destroy one of these crops. Let's do some X's here for our figuratively fence. And it would be a little bit more work, but this was just to make my nollie happy that we would have corn that year. Corn is very important to his staple or his way of life. My way of life too, because I always love it. So now I'm planning an area close to my house, but I would have to, of course, haul water because, hauling water would be a little bit easier than anything to grow these crops because they have to be watered almost regularly. And it would be by my house in a little area I found that felt the same as my nollie. My nollie is now passed away, but I always remember he would show me how to plant, how to look after it, what kind of weeds to look out for, and when the corn is ready in order to take it inside. And that would be Story for Corn. Okay, let's go move on. Let's go ahead and do okay, so my earlier doodle with a can just kind of resurfaced, I think. So let's have a story about soda. Now soda, I think I'm going to talk about a different person. Let's say this person's name is Sarah. Sarah used to have a very big appetite for soda. Now, soda to her was a staple like she could not live without. She wanted this soda no matter what. She would do anything to get this soda. Now, she was a little girl, maybe about 5 years old, so she knew that if she begged hard enough or long enough, she would get what she wanted. But truth be told, soda is bad for her. So she ended up going to the doctors, or well, in this case, to the dentist. And it was found out that she had drank so much soda that there were what's called cavities, but there's holes in her teeth. You know, I'm sorry to make you cringe, but for this story, you're gonna have to listen. So with these holes in her teeth, she was told no more soda. You cannot have any more soda. It would need to fix these teeth. So it was decided she would come back at a later time to get her teeth fixed because she could not sit still in these seats. After she was done with that, she ran home and she had to get to her soda collection. She had cans that she had hidden away that she was planning on drinking as soon as she got home. Well, her brother, let's say her older brother, had found out about her little drinking problem and the holes in her teeth. So he found all the places that she was keeping her sodas and took them away. She was very mad at this point. She said, "Why did you take all my sodas? I was planning on drinking them before they fixed my teeth." And the brother simply had told her, "No, you cannot have any more sodas. You are going to ruin your teeth." The little girl didn't listen, so she begged and pleaded. She stomped her feet. She wanted to make sure, she wanted to make her brother feel bad and give her back her soda. And truth be told, that did not work for her. She just stomped her foot and kept on crying and crying and crying. And her mother finally sat her down and said, "No, my daughter, you cannot have any more. If I find you with anything like that, you're going to be in trouble and we're going to take you back to the doctor right away." Now the little girl became scared of this. She said, "I don't want to go back to the doctor. Please don't make me." So the mother just told her, "Well, if you drink any more sodas, that's what's going to happen." And the little girl, she started to listen, but after the first day, she started thinking, maybe I'll just try to find one soda somewhere. There has to be something. And she searched and she searched, but she couldn't find anything around the house. And then she found out that, everybody threw away all their sodas. Since the little girl couldn't have any, the mother made sure that nobody else could have any. And that made her mad again, and so she stomped off. And the brother had to be sent out to go find her because he knew where she would be hiding. And found her I want to say about a mile away, hiding in her favorite hiding spot, just trying to look up at the stars because it was nighttime at this point when he found her. So he talked to her for a little bit and asked her if she was if she was really wanting soda, he could probably find some or bring some back for her if she really wanted to. The little girl thought about it and thought about, people trying to take care of her and decided no and told her brother, I'll try again. I'll try one more time tomorrow. I'll stop taking soda. I understand now. You guys are just trying to help me. So they went home and the little girl got her teeth fixed and her mom made her promise not to drink soda ever again. But of course, the little girl stuck to it for a little while. But of course, down the line, when she felt a little bit better, soda made a reappearance, but not so much. She just made sure she only had one every once in a while. Yeah. Okay, so we did a couple of stories, not too many, but this is just to give you an idea of how lines, shapes, or even just drawings in general can tie into a story or tie together a story. Again, these were not planned. I apologize if it was a little bit sloppy, but there are a favorite that I have. This is actually my favorite so far, of just the girl reaching up for the stars. So that's my favorite out of the others. Comment below which one you thought was yours, or if you have a story to share with us, please put them in the comments below. And I'd like to thank you for joining me, or watching this for today, to do random stories and telling stories, random drawings. I'm sorry. But again, my name is Jessica, and I am part of the Octavia Flynn Public Library. Please like, subscribe, and comment below if you'd like to see more of Octavia Flynn Public Library's staff, virtual videos. Please like and subscribe to all of our others. We do have a lot to offer, but thank you for joining us today, and have a great day.